Your name was mentioned in a government meeting. They talked about your dressing style, saying that you look like someone heaven hand-picked, draped in grace, walking with purpose, clothed in light. And I, the angel who has watched over you from the moment your soul whispered its first cry into the world, I must speak. I must tell you the weight of those words, the truth behind them, the glory that rests upon your shoulders though you may not yet see it. What they spoke of in that room was not just about garments or fashion. No, it was something far deeper, far more sacred. They saw something divine in you, and they could not explain it. They tried to describe the colors you wore, but none could agree. Some said you shimmered like the morning sun, others said you were like silver moonlight dancing across oceans. What they really saw was the presence of something beyond this world, a heaven's fingerprints etched into the way you carry yourself, the way you clothe your soul before your body. And though they could not name it, they felt it. That is why your name came up, why eyes turned and voices quieted. Because when you walk into a room, even the air changes. Not because of perfume or presence alone, but because the spirit that walks with you speaks through the fabric you wear, through the colors that cling to you like morning dew. Every step you take echoes in realms beyond what mortals can see. You are not just dressed. You are covered in prophecy. They thought they were observing your style, but what they were witnessing was an alignment. A connection between heaven's vision and earthly expression. The angels whispered into the seams of your garments. The Holy breathed into your choices. You wear peace like a robe, and joy like a crown. Even when you are unaware, you are shining. And they noticed. Oh yes, they noticed. One leader leaned in and asked, who styles them? And the answer is one no stylist on earth can claim. The one who formed stars has styled you. The one who colored sunsets dipped his brush into eternity and painted your countenance with purpose. It is not merely clothing. It is mantle. It is calling. It is the visible evidence of invisible glory. Some were intimidated. Not all who sat in that meeting understood what they felt. Some resisted it, recoiling from the brightness you carry. But that's not your burden. That is the reaction of those who sit in darkness too long. When light enters, it startles the shadows. Still, do not dim yourself. Do not cover what heaven has clothed. Let them talk. Let them whisper. Every conversation about you in secret rooms is known in the higher courts of heaven. I was there when you hesitated at your closet, unsure of what to wear. You thought it didn't matter. But I tell you, every fabric you picked held prophecy in its thread. Every choice carried language from another realm. When you touched that white garment, peace whispered. When you chose that golden hue, favor flowed. You thought you were dressing for a day, but you were clothing yourself in destiny. Your posture was commented on too. They said you walked with confidence. What they didn't see is that you walk surrounded. Your shoulders stand straight because angel wings stand guard. Your gaze stays steady because heaven's wind pushes you forward. That isn't arrogance. That is assurance. That is heaven's echo saying, go forth, my chosen. even the way you tied your hair, the way your hands moved when you spoke here, they noticed it all. Because every action that flows from a soul aligned with purpose speaks volumes, even in silence. When you laughed, one of them said, "There is healing in their joy." And they were right. What they didn't know is that your laughter heals because it's a sound that has survived storms. It is a sound not born from ease, but from endurance. Heaven treasures that kind of laughter. They will speak of you more in rooms you haven't entered yet. Some will plot against you, not because of anything wrong you've done, but because you were what they buried. They tried to bury glory. They tried to bury grace. But it rose again in you. And now, they see in you what they tried to silence in themselves. Be patient with them. But do not apologize for the fire you carry. It was lit by divine hands. Yes, you look like someone heaven hand-picked. Because you are. You were chosen before your name was ever whispered by human lips. You were appointed before your hands learned to lift in worship. You were seen before the world saw you. And heaven dressed you, not in designer threads, but in garments of praise, robes of righteousness, and coats of many colors, like Joseph, who was misunderstood, envied, but destined. You are clothed in light because you walk with the one who is light. And light does not ask for permission to shine. It simply does. So let the governments talk. Let them gather and whisper. You are fulfilling scripture just by showing up. When kings gather and speak your name, it is because heaven has declared, "Make way for my beloved." I tell you now, as your angel, do not underestimate what they saw. You are not merely noticed. You are recognized in the spirit. The world is catching up to what God has already established. You are a vessel of sacred influence. You move with heaven's rhythm. And though you walk in shoes made by human hands, your steps are ordered by God. Let them talk. Let them wonder. The King of Heaven delights in you. You are heaven's poetry walking through the halls of power. You are a divine answer to questions earth hasn't dared to ask aloud. Wear your mantle boldly. Drape yourself in mercy, layer it with truth, adorn it with humility. Let the fragrance of faith follow you. You don't just look like royalty. You are. Not of man, but of God. Royalty born from redemption. Style sealed by salvation. So next time they speak of you, whether in whispers behind closed doors or in loud opinions drenched in jealousy, know this, beloved, it was never truly about the fabric you wear, the color of your robes, or the style of your garments. It was never about the shoes on your feet or the jewelry on your skin. They see something, yes, but it isn't surface. It isn't fashion. It isn't flash. What they are really trying to name a broken bar is glory. They just don't know how to speak of it. They cannot describe what they do not understand. And so they comment on the visible, because the invisible power on you leaves them confused, convicted, and curious. No, it was never about the clothing. It is about the light. The light that breaks through every room you enter, even when you try to shrink. The light that flickers like a candle of help to the hopeless, even when you feel dim. The light that burns within your spirit like a silent fire, refusing to be snuffed out. You see, it's not a spotlight, it's your soul. It's the hand of God illuminating you from within. It's the radiance of heaven resting on your shoulders, and no amount of silence or slander can put it out. It is about the purpose that can't be silenced. They tried to talk over you, but purpose still echoed through the halls. They tried to laugh, but purpose rose like thunder under their mockery. They tried to exclude you, to write you off, to pretend you weren't called, but heaven never stopped writing your name into the story. When man tried to erase you, God wrote you in bold. Your purpose was sealed before you were seen. And no rejection can reverse a destiny that was forged in the fire of God's own will. There is an anointing on you. Do you feel it now? An invisible oil that covers you like a second skin. It isn't always loud, but it is always present. It isn't always seen, but it is always sacred. That's why people look twice when you pass by, even if they don't know why. That's why doors open when you knock, and why certain people feel uncomfortable when you enter a room. It's not you they fear, it's the holiness that walks with you. The authority that speaks before your mouth opens. The God that clothes you, walks with you, and refuses to let you walk small. Let them speak. Let every whisper come like wind behind your back, pushing you further into your divine assignment. Let every mention of your name remind the earth that heaven already knew it. Let every tongue that rises against you be silenced by the evidence of your fruit. Because every whisper, every rumor, every sideways glance here, they are not threats. They are confirmations. Confirmation that the light is being seen. That the anointing is being felt. That your name is ringing in realms far beyond the reach of those who doubt you. For every whisper only confirms what heaven has shouted from the beginning: you are mine. You are chosen. You are light in human form. Heaven didn't just see you, they appointed you. When you were still in the shadows, heaven was speaking loudly about your purpose. When you were still healing in silence, the angels were rehearsing your victory. And now the world is starting to catch up. Slowly, awkwardly, sometimes with resistance here, but even darkness cannot ignore light forever. You are light in a world that often forgets what light feels like. You are peace walking among the broken-hearted. You are joy in the midst of storms. You are clarity in confusion. You are warmth in cold places. And even if they try to dim you, even if they try to cover you with words, jealousy, or ignorance, remember this: what is divine cannot be destroyed. What is heaven-born cannot be hidden. And I, your angel, will continue to walk beside you. Yes, always. Not just on the days you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. Not just when they celebrate you, but when they turn their backs. Not just when you rise, but when you fall. I will be the one adjusting your crown, even when your hands tremble. I will wrap you in strength when your soul feels tired. I will hold you up when the world tries to weigh you down. You are not alone. Not now. Not ever. For every step you take in obedience, I will be the whisper in your spirit that says, keep going. I will remind you of who you are, not the version they see, but the truth that heaven knows. I will remind you that your worth is not in applause. That your calling is not in popularity. That your beauty is not for display, it is for destiny. Your radiance is not for admiration, it is for activation. You were not created to be watched either, you were created to lead. To rise. To break chains and open eyes. You were sent not just to live, but to light the way. Even when you are unseen, you are still anointed. Even when you are overlooked, you are still appointed. Even when you are alone, you are still crowned. You are not hidden, you are held. You are not forgotten, you are favored. So let them speak. Let them try to define you. Let them wonder why your name keeps resurfacing. Let them ask why you keep glowing even after the fire. Why you keep standing after the fall. Why you keep smiling through the storm. Because when they ask, the answer will rise from the depths of heaven's voice, because you are mine. You are my masterpiece, fearfully and wonderfully made. You are my warrior, clothed in divine armor. You are my light, walking boldly in a world that prefers shadows. Yes, your name was mentioned. In rooms you've never entered. On lips you've never met. In hearts you've never touched. And when it was a broken bar, heaven smiled. Because heaven knows the truth. Beloved, as the echoes of that government meeting fade into the corridors of time, their words about you linger like a sacred refrain, a melody that heaven itself composed before the stars were hung in their places. They spoke of your style, your grace, your light, but what they truly glimpsed was the eternal signature of the divine, etched into the very fabric of your being. You, chosen one, are not merely a figure passing through the fleeting scenes of this world. You are a living prophecy, a walking testament, a vessel draped in the glory of the one who calls you by name. And now, as your angel continues to whisper truths that transcend mortal understanding, let this moment be a clarion call to embrace the weight of your mantle, to step boldly into the destiny woven into your soul, and to invite others to witness and proclaim this truth alongside you. The world saw you, and it paused. Not because of the garments that adorn your frame, though they shimmer with heaven's artistry, but because your presence carries a resonance that stirs the unseen realms. When they spoke of your colors as sunlit gold, moonlit silver, or the deep indigo of midnight skeezer, they were grasping at the ineffable, trying to name the unnameable. What they saw was not cloth but covenant, not fashion but favor, not style but the substance of a soul aligned with its creator. You are not dressed in the transient trends of earth but in the timeless textiles of eternity. Every thread that clings to you has been spun in the courts of heaven, dyed in the hues of mercy, and stitched with the promises of God. You wear peace as a robe, righteousness as a sash, and joy as a crown that no earthly hand can remove. Consider this, cherished one, when you stood before your mirror, hesitating over what to wear, you thought it a small thing. You thought it merely a choice of convenience or preference. But every decision you made was guided by a hand unseen, every garment you chose was imbued with purpose. That white blouse you slipped on was not just fabric, it was a declaration of purity, a banner of peace that fluttered in the spiritual winds. That golden scarf you draped across your shoulders was not mere adornment, it was a mantle of favor, a sign that heaven's abundance rests upon you. Even the shoes you laced up, worn and familiar, were chosen to carry you across thresholds of destiny, each step a proclamation that the ground you tread is holy. You thought you were preparing for a day, but you were preparing for a divine appointment, a moment when the world would catch a glimpse of the God who walks with you. They noticed your posture, the way your shoulders refused to bow under the weight of the world's chaos. They called it confidence, but it is so much more. It is the assurance of one who knows they are surrounded. Angels stand guard at your side, their wings brushing against the edges of your spirit, lifting you when you falter, steadying you when the path grows steep. Your gaze, unwavering and clear, is not born of pride but of promise. You see beyond the veil of this world because heaven has opened your eyes to truths that others cannot yet perceive. When you walk, the earth itself feels the rhythm of your steps, for they are ordered by the one who laid the foundations of the universe. Each stride is a sermon, each gesture a prayer, each breath a hymn that rises to the throne of grace. And oh, your laughter, how it captivated them. They said it held healing, and they were right, though they could not fully grasp why. Your joy is not a shallow stream that dries up in drought. It is a river carved through the bedrock of trials, its waters purified by perseverance. When you laugh, the heavens lean in to listen, for it is the sound of a soul that has danced with sorrow and emerged victorious. It is the sound of redemption, of chains broken, of promises kept. Your joy is a weapon, scattering darkness and sowing hope in hearts that have forgotten how to dream. When they heard it, they felt life stir within them, a spark of the eternal that you carry without effort, simply by being who you are. But let us not linger only on what they saw. Let us speak of what you are called to do. You, bearer of light, are not meant to stand still, a statue admired but untouched. You are a flame, meant to ignite, to warm, to illuminate. The world that noticed you in that meeting is but a fragment of the audience heaven has prepared for you. There are rooms you have not yet entered, hearts you have not yet touched, destinies you have not yet awakened. The mention of your name in those halls was not the pinnacle of your story, it was merely a prelude, a whisper of the greater things to come. You are called to walk through cities and villages, through boardrooms and back roads, carrying the fragrance of heaven wherever you go. You are called to speak, to create, to love, to heal, not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. Do not be surprised that some in that meeting recoiled from your light. Darkness always flinches when confronted with radiance. There were those who felt unease, not because of anything you did, but because your presence reminded them of what they had forsaken. You wear what they breed, a glory, grace, purpose, and your very existence challenges them to rise or retreat. Be patient with them, for their resistance is not your burden to carry. Pray for them, but do not dim your shine to ease their discomfort. The light you carry was given, not earned, and it is not yours to hide. Let them whisper, let them plot, let them question. Every word spoken about you in secret is known in the courts of heaven, and the King who reigns there has already declared your victory. You may wonder, at times, why this weight rests upon you. Why you, of all people, were chosen to bear such a mantle. You may feel unworthy, unprepared, or unseen. But hear this, heaven does not choose based on human merit. Heaven chooses based on divine purpose. Before your heart beat its first rhythm, before your lungs drew their first breath, you were seen, known, and appointed. The one who formed the galaxies looked upon you and said, "This one is mine." The one who painted the dawn with colors no artist can replicate dipped his brush into eternity and marked you with destiny. You are not an accident, not a coincidence, not a mistake. You are a masterpiece, crafted with intention, clothed with intention, sent with intention. And so, you must walk with intention. When you choose your garments each morning, do so with prayer, for you are not merely dressing a body but adorning a calling. When you speak, let your words carry the weight of heaven's truth, for they have the power to shift atmospheres and break strongholds. When you love, do so with the fierceness of one who knows the cost of redemption, for your love is a reflection of the one who gave all. And when you falter, as all do in this earthly journey, remember that the same hands that clothed you in light are ready to lift you from the dust, to wipe your tears, and to set your feet back on the path. The world will continue to speak of you. In boardrooms and backrooms, in marketplaces and sanctuaries, your name will rise like incense, carried on the winds of divine favor. Some will praise you, others will envy you, but all will be touched by you. For you are not merely a person, you are a movement, a ripple in the fabric of eternity that spreads farther than you can imagine. Every choice you make, every step you take, every smile you offer, it matters. It reverberates in realms unseen, shaping destinies, awakening dreams, and glorifying the one who made you. And now, beloved, let us turn to those who read these words, those whose hearts have been stirred by the truth of who you are and who they, too, are called to be. You, reader, are not a bystander in this narrative. You are not merely an observer of this divine drama. You, too, are clothed in light, chosen by heaven, marked by grace. The same Spirit that weaves prophecy into the garments of the one we speak of weaves it into yours. You, too, walk with angels at your side, with purpose in your steps, with destiny in your hands. Do you see it? Do you feel it? The world may not yet have spoken your name in government halls, but heaven has shouted it from the beginning of time. So rise, beloved reader, and embrace your mantle. Look at the colors you wear today. I are not just the hues of your clothing, but the shades of your soul. What do they proclaim? Do they speak of courage, of compassion, of faith? Look at the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you love. Do they reflect the one who made you? If you feel unworthy, remember that worthiness is not the prerequisite for calling, surrender is. If you feel unseen, know that the eyes of heaven never leave you. If you feel afraid, trust that the same angels who guard the one we've spoken of guard you, too. And as you do, know that you are not alone. There are others reading these words, others who have felt the same stirring, others who are rising to wear their mantles boldly. Your like, your comment, your story, they are not just for you. They are for the one who feels unseen, the one who doubts their purpose, the one who needs a spark to ignite their faith. Your voice has power. Your story has weight. Your light has purpose. Share it, and watch how heaven uses it to shift the atmosphere, to heal the broken, to awaken the sleeping. Beloved, whether you are the one whose name was spoken in that meeting or the one whose name is yet to be known, you are part of the same divine narrative. You are clothed in light, not because you earned it, but because you were loved into it. You walk with purpose, not because you chose it, but because it chose you. You shine, not because you are perfect, but because you are His. So wear your mantle boldly. Drape yourself in mercy, layer it with truth, adorn it with humility. Let the fragrance of faith follow you. Let the rhythm of heaven guide you. Let the world talk, for their whispers only confirm what heaven has shouted. You are chosen. You are light. You are His. And as you go, know that the heavens are watching, smiling, singing. Your angel walks beside you, adjusting your crown, whispering your worth, guiding your steps. The King of Heaven delights in you, not just when you are seen, but even when you are alone. You are His poetry, His masterpiece, His answer to a world that aches for hope. So shine, beloved. Shine without apology, without restraint, without fear. The world is waiting to see what heaven has always known. Now, let us seal this moment with action. Like this message to proclaim that you believe in the power of heaven's choosing. Comment with the colors of your destiny, the truths of your calling, the moments when you felt God's hand upon you. Let your voice rise, let your light shine, let your story inspire. Together, we will weave a symphony of glory that echoes from earth to eternity, declaring to all that we are His, and He is ours.